Picture this, because the end of this movie was at night. So Sonic disappears into the woods, and he's on his own, and he looks up at the sky, he looks at the stars, and then suddenly the clouds part and there's a full moon, and he turns into the werehog.
That would be the dumbest thing to do.
Hello, you thermonuclear gerbils. I'm Dandy.
I'm Luna.
Well, no, we're going to do something a bit different this evening. We went and saw Sonic 3, saving Sega from disaster. And yeah, we're just going to talk about it. It's interesting because we come from different backgrounds in terms of like our history with Sonic, the games that we played.
That's true.
And if anything, this movie is more tailored for you than it is for me.
It super is, because my background with Sonic the Hedgehog is mostly Adventure and Adventure 2.
Yeah, which this is built on.
It's very built on Adventure 2.
Me, I'm a Sonic 1 and 2 kid. It'll be interesting because, like, I was curious if you'd pick up more, like, little references.
There was a lot of very cute references.
Yeah, for those who don't know, if you've not seen the trailers, this third film introduces Shadow the Hedgehog, aka the best Hot Topic boy.
One of my favourite characters, despite the fact that he's a silly dumb edgelord.
Yes. We'll talk about the actual movie, like plot-wise. They introduce Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah. He's an alien creature that's fallen to Earth. An organisation called Gun pick him up and want to train him to be the ultimate sort of super soldier weapon.
No, in the movie they were using him as an energy source. I mean, it's hard to tell whether or not they were originally using him as an energy source for a weapon or if it was just an energy source.
Basically, he's a test subject there that obviously no one cares for, but the professor who's running the experiment, his granddaughter, Maria, her and Shadow form a friendship.
Yeah, she, like, reaches out to him as, like, I'm going to treat you like a person rather than as a test subject.
Well, it's just a child seeing this strange thing and being like, I want to be friends with that.
Yeah. There's that bit where Gerald Robotnik runs into the room and goes, Maria, Shadow, we have to run because they want to take Shadow away. Okay. Which we don't even know if that's true because, let's be honest, Gerald is not exactly a reliable narrator.
No, he's not.
And while they are running, the gun soldiers are about to open fire on them.
Yes.
But Colonel something. He goes, what are you doing? There's a children, tries to wrestle the guy's gun off him, and he shoots like a barrel full of high explosive matter. Yeah. I assume it's chaos energy, actually.
I would assume, yeah, maybe that's what they're doing, is they're trying to harvest chaos energy from Shadow.
I think that's what they're doing.
Maria is killed, and Shadow wants revenge on Gun.
Gerald also wants revenge on Gun for the killing of his granddaughter.
Yes, and Shadow was basically put in cryo for 50 years. And at the beginning of this movie, he's woken up because he just has these memories. And basically he's like, okay, revenge time.
Gerald lets him out, I think. Shadow had been held on Prison Island, which in the movie is in the Tokyo Bay. Yeah. I don't know why it's in Tokyo Bay, don't question it.
Because it looks cool.
And he runs to Tokyo from Prison Island. Sonic Tails Knuckles gets dropped in Shibuya because that's where Shadow has gone to. Yeah. Why he went there, I don't know. Yeah. It was nearby, I guess.
That's it. So yeah, they get dropped in Shibuya. They confront Shadow, they get their asses kicked. Yes. Sonic's like, what the fuck? I didn't expect to have my ass kicked. Even though in the last movie, Knuckle kicked my ass. But I got over that really quick. Yeah. They say, we can't defeat them on our own. I guess I don't want to do it, but we're going to have to team up with Robotnik, who's retired. So they team up.
They're following the control signals from Robotnik's drones, because Gerald's stolen them.
Oh, yeah.
That's why Robotnik agrees to help, because someone stole my babies.
Yeah, that's true. So they go to the destroyed gun base. Shadow's there. It turns out Gerald Robotnik is there, who's the grandfather of Eggman. Yeah. Eggman's like, no, Granddaddy, I'm going to team up with you and Shadow instead. They need these gun chips, like these cards.
Yes,
they get one at the beginning of the film.
Gerald sends the drones after Team Sonic. Yeah. They have a gun general there talking to them, explaining things. Yeah. He's got the card on him and he gets killed in that scene.
Yeah, so they need the second one in gun headquarters in London. So yeah, the two Eggmen and Shadow go to try and nick it, and then Team Sonic goes as well, basically to try and get the cards. And basically, like, there's a whole Mission Impossible style, how we're going to get in here, and then they are able to...
Which was entirely unnecessary, by the way, because Knuckles just punches his way through.
Yeah, exactly. They could have just done that, like, just to boil it down a bit.
Because there's like that whole laser grid thing, That's entirely irrelevant because Knuckles just punches his way through the fucking ceiling.
So there's a massive fight scene where eventually Shadow and the Robotniks get the card, but then Donut Lord himself...
His adoptive dad, I guess.
Is trying to get the card back from the general. He's able to get the card back because he's able to, with a device that Tails gives him, like changes.
It's a disguise.
He has a disguise thing, so he turns into the general from Gun who dies. So she's like, okay, I'll give it to you, well, fair enough. But then Shadow sees him and is like, I want my revenge, I'm killing you now.
Yeah, like, Shadow is like, I recognise you as the guy who put me in cryo for 50 years.
Yeah.
Which... Fair enough.
And so goes to punch him, does punch him. Shadow's like, oh no, I didn't realise because the disguise disappeared.
The disguise drops and reveals it's actually Tom.
Sonic runs up and thinks that he's dead because he's not waking up, and Sonic is like, what the fuck have you done? And then Shadow's like, what I had to do.
Yeah.
And so Sonic is pissed now because he thinks that Donut Lord is dead.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's only one way that we can defeat it, by using the Master Emerald. And Knuckles is like,
we agreed we would never use that again.
We'd never use it, we made an oath, and basically Sonic's like, you have your oath, but fuck that. Yeah. I'm gonna get it. So he gets the Master Emerald. He finds Shadow. He turns Super Saiyan. He turns Supersonic.
Well, yeah, he turns Supersonic and flies off to the giant space laser.
Yes.
That was what they were stealing the cards for.
Yes, because they need the cards because apparently under the Thames there is enough room to have a giant
space
laser that comes out from under the Thames and is in Earth's orbit. And basically, that's where the Robotniks and Shadow are. And then Sonic turns Supersonic to fight Shadow. But Shadow punches the Emerald out of Sonic. Yeah. And when they're both trying to get them, they both turn Supersonic themselves. Yeah. Well, Supersonic and Super Shadow. Yeah, but they have their Super Saiyan fight where they're literally punching each other into different countries and into different, like, artifacts and, like, monuments on Earth, and it's fucking cool. And, like, Sonic's super pissed, like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch! And Shadow's like, okay, try it then. And they're like, our fight isn't cool enough, we need to do it on the moon now, because Earth isn't cool, we've done every country. So they end up on the moon, and Sonic is about to kill Shadow, and he's like, no, like, I'm not gonna let anger get to me. And they kind of make up.
Yeah.
And basically, Shadow's like, I've done bad things, but Maria, we want me to do something good. And because it turns out that Gerald wasn't actually... He needed his laser not to take over the world, but to just destroy it. Because he's like, humanity's fucked. Let's kill everyone, including us. And he says including us.
Yeah, he reveals that the laser is so powerful that if it hits Earth, it will
125,000 kilometers
destroy the space station they're currently stood on.
Yeah.
And obviously, Ivo was a bit like, the fuck?
I didn't sign up to have a suicide mission.
I thought we were going to rule Earth, not destroy it.
Gerald is like, destroy Earth. Dr. Robotnik is like, no, you're crazy, we're going to fight now. And so it looks like Gerald is going to win. And then Robotnik, Tails, and Knuckles team up briefly. Yeah. And they use the spine from Sonic. And they basically stick it over Gerald's ass. It rams up his ass, so it sends him flying into the chaos energy, and it fucking zaps him like a bug zapper.
Yeah, he just gets deleted from reality.
He gets fucking disintegrated, which is mad. But cool. Shadow and Sonic still in Super Saiyan form. They travel back, and it turns out that it's going to explode. The space station.
Still firing.
The laser's still firing, so they need to point it away from the Earth. So they point it away from the Earth, but it catches the moon, so it cuts part of the moon off. It'll be very curious if in the next film they look at the moon and part of the moon is cut off.
That's a good point, because obviously the moon gets like shot in Venture 2, and that is never brought up again.
I was gonna say that needs to have some continuity to it. But yeah, so the laser is away, but the space station is gonna blow up, and basically Eggman is stuck on there and is like, okay, I'm gonna have one last recording because I know I'm gonna die. And Shadow is like, I'm going to use the rest of my energy and push it away from Earth. It blows up, and seemingly Shadow and Robotnik die, and then Team Sonic are thrown back to Earth, but they survive. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and that's basically how the movie ends. And then we get to our like post-credit, where at the very beginning of the movie, they have Team Sonic racing to see who's the fastest when... The fucking answer is Sonic is the fastest, let's be real. Yeah. And then they call back to that at the end where they do it at night, and then it cuts to credits mid-race, but then it comes back and Sonic has run
to New York.
To New York, because it has the sign. And then from behind him, Metal Sonic appears, and he's like, what the fuck, I've already fought once hedgehog-looking motherfucker today. I guess I'm going to fight another one. And it turns out there's not one Metal Sonic, but many Metal Sonics. Yeah. And he's like, okay, I didn't sign up for this shit. But then the mysterious stranger with a hammer comes and destroys them, and it turns out to be Amy Rose. And then that's the stinger. But no, like, for the movie stuff, that's it. I think the last thing we can talk about, it's the references that they do put in.
Yes.
Some of them are fun. I mean, the ones that we're looking for are clearly are they going to reference Shadow the Hedgehog, the game?
Yeah, we were looking for that.
That's what we were both looking for, you specifically, and the fact that they have it all
I do
in the
love,
intro.
like, we both had that reaction to the Sonic falling in front of Shadow. Like, we both had
intro from Shadow. I mean, we did the DiCaprio point.
We did the DiCaprio point because I didn't think that they were going to do, like, the one where he has guns.
Yeah. And when he appears on the top of a burning car, I was like, that's pretty damn good.
So, like, in Adventure 2, Sonic is arrested by Gun.
Yeah.
At the intro. And he fights his way out of the helicopter, kicks the door out and uses that as a snowboard to go down the streets in the city.
Yeah.
So there's that line that he says before he jumps out, the talk about a budget airline,
yeah.
which he also says
when they jump out.
When they jump out in the movie.
Which is cute.
Which is a cute.
If you know, you know. And I'm not one to know.
Yeah. Actually, it's a good point. Somebody who didn't know that was a reference.
No, I didn't play the game.
Was it weird that he said that before jumping
No,
out?
I guess because of the humour of the movie, I just bought it as, okay, that's in the movie.
Okay, right. It felt sort of crowbarred into me, but...
yeah.
Because I knew it was a reference, so I was just like, okay, so they've forced that reference in there. But if it was normal to you, then I guess maybe it's fine.
No, I think it's okay, to be honest. And also, in that fight where he's escaping on a motorbike with a laser gun.
Oh, yeah.
And he does the Akira slide, which is in the trailer.
The Akira slide up
it's
Tokyo
always
Tower. Because they're going up. I don't know if it's Skytree or Tokyo Tower. I'd have to rewatch it. Yeah. But they are, like, going up that building, and Akira slides off the top of it.
Yeah. It's been used in so many things, and it's always cool.
It's always cool.
And then other than that, I mean, the Chow Garden's a cute little thing.
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that they mentioned Pokemon in this universe with Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Because a couple girls in the Chow Garden say to Tails, "You look like Detective Pikachu."
Are you Detective Pikachu?
And that feels crowbarred into me.
I took like psychic damage from them doing that.
It just felt a bit weird. I don't want Hollywood to get the idea of having a Sonic and Pokemon crossover.
Oh god, no. The problem with merging Sonic and Pokemon is Sonichu. Is the problem. We know Sega knows what Sonichu is.
Where's the reference to that?
They won't reference that. They can't reference that. For context, Dandy does not know what Sonichu is. I have not explained Sonichu to him. Someday I will do that to you.
That might be another video.
It will be. It will be. And that is a threat.
Yeah. And other than that, I can't really think of any other, like, major references. Oh. Live and learn!
Oh, yes, of course.
We finally have Crush 40 in the movies.
Yeah, they remixed it.
And they had to use it, like, when Shadow and Sonic are flying back to the base in Super Sonic and Shadow forms.
Yeah.
They have a remix of Live and Learn. Which is
right
great. It's the one you use.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's general impression time. I think I can guess what you're going to say.
It's fun. Go see it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Especially if you're a fan of Adventure 2. But if you're a fan of Adventure 2, you've already gone.
Luna says go and see it.
Go see it.
I'm saying go and see it as well. The Sonic films are fun.
Yeah, all the Sonic films are fun.
I hope they just go like bigger and dumber. But yeah, we have deviated from this one episode. We did something a bit different. But no, we will be back on our regular broadcast. We'll do our plugs. Luna, plug your shit.
I'm on DeviantArt. That's it. LunaDeeMinac.
You can find me on Instagram under Dynamite Dandy. I do rubber hose and pop art. You You can also find me on Instagram under Paranoia Prince, where I do horror artwork in a similar style. And then other than that, something music inspired. I'm in a band called News for Parrots. We do ska and punk music. We do originals and covers. If you want to listen to our originals, you can find us in all places you can find good music, so iTunes and Spotify. So no, check out all that stuff. We'd love to see it. And yeah, we shall see you in the next episode. Later, Gators.
Bye.